Hey mathematicians, in this video I'm going to show you how to figure out where the center of a dilation is. And the first thing we need to figure out is what the scale factor was so that we can figure out then what the distance change should be between the pre-image and the image. So we know that this one is our pre-image, and we know that because it doesn't have the same tick mark that the image does over here. And I'm going to use this line segment in order to figure out the scale factor. I'm going to use this line segment right here. So if I look at the horizontal distance that's covered by that line segment, you see the horizontal distance is 6 and the vertical distance is 2. And if I look at that same corresponding side on the image, you can see that your horizontal distance is 3 and your vertical distance is 1. So that means that the scale factor is 1/2 because all of those links cut in half. Instead of 6, it went to 3. Instead of 2, it went to 1. So the scale factor is 1/2. You can also just kind of tell by eyeballing this that it looks like all the vertices in the pre-image all kind of moved their way this direction so that they're closer to coordinate B. So that's a reason that I'm pretty sure that coordinate B is going to be the center of this dilation, but I'm going to double check and, make sure. So my original side length here shows how far away A was in my pre-image. So A was originally here, but now you can see that A has moved so that it's halfway in between A and B. So that's a pretty good clue that, once again, since it went to just half the distance that it was originally away from B, that tells you that, once again, B was probably the center. And I can tell that that same pattern holds true for my other vertices as well. So, for example, my original coordinate C is here. You can see it was originally this distance away from B, but now C has moved so that it's halfway in between. So that tells me pretty clearly that B is definitely the center of this dilation. So where's the center? The center is coordinate B. And again, I knew that because my image got closer to coordinate B, and it is half the size and the distance away. So now we need to look at one that's a little bit more complicated. We're still trying to find the center. And I'm going to start off by figuring out the scale factor. So if I look at the length of this side, I can see that the length is 9 units long here, and then the corresponding side is 3 units long. And I can tell that this is my pre-image because it doesn't have the little tick mark. So that means that this one is my image. So this is an enlargement, and because the pre-image was only 3, and its corresponding side after the dilation is now 9, we know our scale factor was 3. So remember the other thing that is a factor when it has to do with the scale factor. So n got 3 times larger, but it also should be 3 times farther away from wherever the center was. So we need to figure out which one of these coordinates was the center. And it's probably pretty clear to you. N seems like it got pretty far away from C, but I'm going to verify it by making sure. So what I mean by that is I'm just going to draw a line because I suspect this is probably my center. So I am going to draw a line from the center to one place on shape N, and you can see that the vertical distance. Okay, so if the distance from the center point, like let's assume it was point C. So this point, it was 1 away from the vertical distance and then 2 away from the horizontal distance, right? So by logical reasoning, if the scale factor is 3, if C is the center, then the distance to the same spot on the image should be 3 times the size. And look at this. Instead of 1, it's 3. And instead of 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that verifies that the center point was C, because now every corresponding part of the image is 3 times the distance away from point C. So point C is the center. All right, guys, so why don't you pause the video and try this one on your own, and then restart the video when you're ready to check your answer. So the first thing I needed to figure out is what the scale factor is. And because my pre-image, and I know it's my pre-image because it doesn't have the little tick mark. So the the vertical distance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units long. And then in my image, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that means that my scale factor is 1/2, because the image is half the size of the pre-image. So now we need to figure out basically which one of these coordinates did the image get closer to by a scale factor of 1/2. So which one cut the distance in half? And so the image isn't any closer to C and D than it was before we dilated it. So, but you can tell that L definitely shifted up in this direction, right? So it got closer to A and B. So one of those is going to be our center. And so I'm going to measure the distance from A to this coordinate on the image. So it's a horizontal, I keep saying that backwards. A vertical distance of 3, horizontal distance of 1. Let's see where it is on the corresponding portion of the pre-image. So I'll make my little line right here. So my vertical distance is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And my horizontal distance is 2. So there we go. It was originally 6 units away. Now it's only 3 units away. It was originally 2 units away horizontally, but now it's only 1 unit away. So that, in fact, means that A is our center.